go down a pretty big rabbit hole of unknown media entities.
Who fucking follows Sunkissed?
Yeah, that's like problem A that I'm dealing with. But now
57,000 people do.
That's true.
I bet
All
at
employees,
least,
though.
No, man. I think 25,000 of those are actually probably people who like opened a banana and it was a little like black, and they're like, "What the fuck, Sunkissed? My banana's black." And then they're gonna be, "Okay, this is Jenny from Sunkissed. Can you DM me your address? We'll send you a new banana."
Jenny from Sunkissed, though,
bots.
is not actually from Sunkissed. She's from a social media conglomerate company called Percolate that Sunkissed uses to tweet.
Shit.
And they're hiring. So if we're all looking for an alternate route once this podcast fizzles out.
I
Do
follow.
you think they padded their numbers at Sunkissed? Is that the
of
point?
course. Come on now.
Probably. Look, if I was the CEO of Sunkissed, I would buy Twitter followers. I would do it.
That's bold.
I wouldn't even feel bad.
They're verified, but I'm not.
Look, man, don't bring me back into this shit again. I had a long-standing feud with a certain Twitter handle that had something to do with crusts, and I had more followers than them. They were verified long
don't
before
bring
me.
up bad blood, man. Come
Well,
on.
that's if you're a corporation, you just get
Bad
verified,
blood
man.
now.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Dude, the
Can't find
fucking...
anything. Incorporate.
If you are an associate
incorporated.
editor... If you're an associate editor for like a newspaper that services 1,500 people in Dade County, Wyoming, you are verified on Twitter. If you have
Dade County
400
is in
followers.
Florida, Bear.
There's a Dade County, Wyoming,
There could
too.
be more than one Dade County.
Dade County is a very popular name for a county.
Dade
lot of
County,
holes.
there is no Dade County, Wyoming, Bear.
Come on, man.
God damn.
Why you gotta harsh my mellow like that?
Dade County,
Why can't you just
Florida?
let Dade County, Wyoming be a thing?
Miami-Dade County was very important in the 2000 presidential election.
How do you know more about the U.S. than we do?
How do you
It's
know
Dade
about
County, dog.
How do you know about Dade County? I didn't even know
Dade
about Dade
County.
County when I said it out loud. I didn't know where that reference came from. It was just a part of my brain that I could access.
You know who the second biggest employer in Dade County is?
Is it going to be Sunkissed?
I wish, man.
That would be really cool.
It's actually Baptist Health, South Florida.
All right.
Just in case you're curious.
Yeah.
You
Well,
said that like it meant something.
yeah, I was really hoping that would connect to our conversation somehow.
Do I need to repeat what I said? Do you know who the third biggest employee in
You
Dade
said
County is?
second. This is all going completely off the rails.
No, yeah, back to Sunkissed.
Back to the important conversation we were having about
No,
Sunkissed.
this is new pizza place that opened up down the street, and they have 12 followers. I'm one of them, and I'm hoping they notice and sponsor me with free pizza.
You've got to be like
basically
the
forever.
biggest Twitter user
I
they
think
have
it is.
following them.
They follow a very random assortment of people, including Barack Obama, Jimmy Fallon, Anderson Cooper,
Koopa?
Troopa.
Koopa, Ellen DeGeneres, Taylor Swift. They followed Taylor Swift.
This
That's
is just
weird.
like the 45-year-old Twitter starter pack. It's like,
Yeah.
right, you get Twitter, it's like, here's who you're following to start with.
No,
I'm gonna-
this
they-
is...
they have some
Celebrities
pretty-
can I think of?
I'm gonna retweet one of their tweets right now. I mean, they're pretty good at their marketing.
Okay.
There it is.
Yeah.
Well, right now you're giving them a pretty big PR bump just by mentioning them and then talking about how you tweeted them.
That's true. I haven't tweeted them. I
fuck.
follow them.
So when you
That's
time you
good,
walk
right?
in-
That's some edgy shit.
next time you walk in, show them the retweet and then be like, "All right, I want my pizza."
friend...
No, I'm looking at this pizza. I think it looks pretty good. But what's up with this broccoli pizza?
Oh yeah, right. I like broccoli on my pizza
That's
sometimes,
the broccoli
but not
Obama
often.
pizza.
Not
Yeah.
often.
Friend, boyfriend, girlfriend,
P forever.
Piforverza. Piforverza.
Then they got this one. The rumor that our pizza cures allergies has not been disproven. Hashtag the more you
That's
know.
it's a little shady to say.
Watch out. Watch out. It's not been disproven.
They're getting started on Twitter, man.
They've got the
They're gonna
the
find their
snarky
way.
tweets.
Yeah.
My diet
You know,
has me
some of the
avoiding all
channels-
fried foods, which is
Some
great
of the
because
channels
pizza
they
is
follow.
baked.
Why do they follow Scotland Food and Drink?
I don't know.
Why do
I
they
don't know.
follow the official South Florida Sun Sentinel newspaper account covering Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade County?
No way!
Dade County.
We did it! Oh,
Full
man.
circle.
If you just talk long enough, eventually you'll get back to where you started.
Welcome to the most fucking convoluted intro to a Roundtable podcast we've probably ever had, ladies and gentlemen. We've been working really hard on bringing this episode in. Honestly, we have. It's been probably the most difficult thing we've ever had to do, but we did it.
Time.
It's finally done. And Nick is back.
Hi, everybody. I went to Dublin, and now I'm here again. It was fantastic.
Where would you rather be right now?
Went all the way to Dublin. Now we
Dublin, but on
Dublin,
Skype with you guys.
Oh,
Can I say that?
okay, yeah, you cop
I did
out, artist.
honestly miss you guys, and I missed being on the show last week.
We missed you too. It turned out to be a terrible show without you,
No,
so
I
we're
really
glad
liked
you're
it.
back.
I listened to it. It was. I had the opportunity there to be an external viewer or listener for once, and you put on a very good show. I
Well,
enjoyed
thank
it.
you. That is nice
You're
of
very
you.
welcome.
I needed that
Mr.
reinforcement
Taffy.
today. We've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. First of all, we need Nick to tell us his ideal Half-Life 3 launch scenario, because he never got the chance to do that last time.
All right, so I thought about it a little bit. You guys had kind of the whole broad spectrum of all the directions you took. I'm going to go in sort of the same direction that Ryan did, which is like uneventful, no PR. In fact, kind of scrap all of the weird shit they were doing and just like release the game like a normal game. Because I think they've pigeonholed themselves now. Half-Life 1 succeeded because of interesting narrative and presentation. It went in a direction nobody expected. Half-Life 2 succeeded because it had revolutionary physics effects and new graphics effects that worked well with new graphics cards and such. And Half-Life 3, we don't know if it has a gimmick, so the best it can do is be a well-done first-person shooter narrative element. I personally didn't find the story to be that great in Half-Life.
Really?
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts of the whole game.
I had a big, long argument with Rob about this, actually. We went on for about an hour.
That sounds like something
Yeah.
that would go on for about an hour. You guys are really good at having, like, in-depth
We do
conversations.
Batman, we do Half-Life, we do Spider-Man, like any superhero stuff, we'll argue. But no, I didn't find it to be the best, personally. But I'm still going to play it, of course. It's Half-Life.
Absolutely. All right. Well, there you go. There's Nick's Half-Life 3 release. Today, though, we're going to talk about Overkill. We're going to talk about Overkill. We know this has been brewing for a little while.
Not the PS1 game.
No, yeah. We're going to talk about the PlayStation 1 release, Overkill.
Project Overkill.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Overkill is the developer of Payday 2, and now we have a little bit more information about this entire ordeal, the fiasco that has been unfolding, as a result of an AMA session that the Overkill development team, I think it might have just been one guy actually trying to handle the PR overload.
Everybody else is too busy counting the cash.
Yeah, seriously.
Why don't you give them a rundown as to what happened before we talk about the AMA?
Yeah, well, I think I'm giving the
bullets.
Let me do the rundown of the show, and then we'll do the rundown of the topic, right? Okay. I'm going to close this tab I have open for Miami-Dade County real quick, and then YouTube Red is the next big topic. Obviously impacts all of us heavily. It's the new paid subscription platform for YouTube that is site-wide and not necessarily something like a Twitch subscription, for example, that only applies to a certain channel. A few little news stories here and there in the gaming sphere as well that we just want to touch on briefly. For example, the No Man's Sky release date has been set. It's going to be June of next year, so if you're interested in that, there you go. That's the entire story. And something I want to talk about right now, actually, that there's a small news story about as well, that the PlayStation Vita is no longer really getting first-party support for the platform. It's dead. It's gone. It's long gone. There's still third-party releases coming out, and there's still third-party developers that are working on stuff for the Vita all the time, but as far as Sony is concerned, they are not really looking at it as one of their big platforms anymore. So, I know all three of you guys have a 3DS, and I know, well, someone has a Vita, right?
I have a Vita.
Nick has a Vita.
I also have a Vita.
Okay.
No.
So, I had a Vita too, a little while ago. I got rid of it, and I am probably just kind of the staple case for Vita consumers. I bought it thinking that I would enjoy it. It turns out I don't really play it that much, so I sold it, and now it's not a part of my life. But I think I am filling that void of the handheld gaming of that space now with things that work a lot better for me in that regard. I've got, like, I have a laptop, so obviously I'm kind of, cheating myself out of the comparison to a Vita on the plane or something like that, because we have the laptop, which can give us most things we want to play anyway. And then I've got a phone that can now handle things like freaking Final Fantasy VII, which is ridiculous. So my question, I guess, I mean, it's a pretty easy question to get around to, but it kind of applies in more of a general sense to what you guys think Sony, Microsoft, and even Nintendo are doing with their handheld consoles moving forward. What is the lifespan of these consoles now, and do they even need to really kind of focus on them?
I mean, the 3DS is without a doubt doing phenomenally well.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nintendo's always kind of dominated that space, and I think because of their domination, it's really hard for anybody else to crack into it. Typically, they're cheaper. They have a wider range, variation of games. I just think 3DS is just mostly Nintendo handhelds are just really, really good. And
Wait, are we
Sony.
still talking about bullet points, or are we?
I think
talking
you're looking
about
at-
why.
I think we finished the bullet points.
We
Now we're
finished
just
the
going
bullet
in.
Yeah, we
points?
finished the bullet points. I led naturally into a conversation about.
And there will
what
be an ass
world-
round table and then Nick's Weird Games at the end. Done.
In what world is the last bullet point the first point you talk about?
In the
You gotta-
past 3 episodes, I'll have you know.
Nah, dog.
It's
That's
been a
in
pattern
public
I've
speaking
established.
Class, if you're like, today I'm going to be talking about the perils of Miami-Dade County, whether or not Yoda is the dopest Star Wars character, then you got to launch into the first point in your first paragraph in the middle section.
Look, man, you stay in public speaking 1010 in your freshman year.
That
as
is
long
a
as you
10th
want
year
to.
class.
That is not a 10th
And I'm
year
excited
class.
to take it.
You gotta
3DS is better at the end.
3DS obviously is doing quite well. The Vita does not really have that kind of allure, I guess. The Vita is just more of a, I don't want to call it a traditional, but like just sort of a run-of-the-mill handheld console. Right?
All right, well, I just went on a trip and I just flew for like 9 hours.
Perfect.
So I'm the prime example of who would be doing something with this. So I had to actually make this decision as I was packing to leave. I have a 3DS, I have a Vita, I have a phone, and I have a laptop. So that's like a lot of electronics. I don't want to take all of those with me, obviously. I'm obviously taking my phone because reasons. You need the phone.
Yep.
And then I'm not taking the laptop because I just didn't want to deal with the hassle of getting it through customs and security and all that shit. And
Didn't want to have to
besides,
put it
didn't
in
have
a
her
bin,
laptop.
man. Jeez, that would be
I didn't want
terrible.
to have to carry it around, lug it around shit either.
right.
It's kind of heavy. So I ended up just picking my Vita. That was the one that I took with me. And I don't have very many games for my 3DS. I have quite a few games for my Vita now. And I went and splurged and got the biggest memory card for it. So I've been filling it up with indie games like crazy. And I actually went and played through most of Super Meat Boy again, like through all the hard mode stuff while I was on the plane. Did a bunch of Isaac runs, played some Spelunky. Like it's a great little link in because I have PS Plus, so it keeps giving me all these free games that I load on there, and I don't have to really pay anything for them. So I just invested in the memory card and the system, and I keep getting games. I don't get that on the 3DS. What do you think?
That's a good point. I mean, got to be fair too. With PlayStation Plus, you're not just getting games; you are paying the monthly subscription fee to.
Well, I bought it for the price for the year. It was actually
Okay,
discounted, so it was like $50 for a year or something.
Right.
The Vita is also my go-to, like, play the same stuff I play on PC, but on an airplane machine. And for
exactly.
that, I like it. I don't use it very often unless I'm flying, but I don't use my 3DS at all, basically, except for Monster Hunter. So, I mean, I kind of feel like I just am not that interested in handhelds in general most of the time now.
I like to imagine that even though the four of us, we are kind of similar as far as, like actual demographic data is concerned.
Almost every single cross-section.
Yeah. So we have to acknowledge that when we're talking about anything that, sort of requires a balanced approach in different sorts of lifestyles and opinions to hopefully be able to get a thorough idea of what the audience is thinking as far as these products are concerned. But yeah, we are all sort of the same as far as handhelds go. We all sort of have the same interests. We have the same opportunities to use these consoles, between the four of us. So we're not really going to have a very diverse approach to this. I'm wondering who really is the big target audience for handheld consoles.
Kids.
Kids, right? It's got to be
Well,
kids.
In America, kids, because they're going to be traveling with their being in the car, going on errands and stuff. But handhelds are huge in Japan, and I'm assuming pretty big in just most modern cities because there's a lot of public transportation. And that's where a lot of the market is because they're going to be on trains or buses or whatever a lot of the time, and people who want to play video games, that's what they're going to have. It's bigger in Japan because Japan is very densely packed for the most part. But here in the U.S., I'd say kids is probably the target demographic, and if parents are going to buy it, they're going to buy the cheaper system most of the time, which when they launched, the 3DS was $50 cheaper.
3DS is just, it's an easier sell for parents, too, for the most
and there's
part.
a lot more kid-friendly games on the 3DS than there are on the Vita.
The Vita is sort of the handheld targeted more to an older audience, I would imagine then, right? The Vita is targeted at people that write for Polygon, whereas the 3DS is targeted at people that have kids that write at Polygon. Is that
the kids write at Polygon?
The kids write at Polygon, yeah.
Well, I mean, when I think about stuff that's big on the Vita that isn't like an indie game ported from the PC, it's a pretty short list. There's like Gravity Rush, and then that Tearaway, admittedly, and then the Killzone game, which I heard is okay, and then once we get beyond that, I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's, I think it's got such a niche audience because it's kind of like, it's a Spelunky machine, and like Sony has done a great job of actually putting stuff like crossplay. But I don't think people care about that. Like the thing with like remote play and crossplay is that I never really. It's kind of like the Steam big picture mode and like intra network sharing basically. Like I did use the crossplay, not crossplay, whatever, remote play with the Vita, and I went to like the other room and I could not play it because it was just like way too laggy, and I was
a
like,
bit awkward. And the controls don't always map perfectly either, which is very frustrating for something like Diablo 3, which should be perfect because there isn't like a good version of that for handheld, and yet some of the buttons are still a bit iffy because you have to use the back panels for stuff.
Oh yeah, and like
back panels are just, I don't know.
With remote play is like literally I could be sitting on my couch playing the game, but if I go to the toilet, it doesn't work. So where is the functionality here for me?
Where is the ideal space to do this?
Yeah, where am I going to be that's far enough away from my couch that I'm like, I don't want to go sit on my couch, but still close enough to my wireless router that it'll actually work.
It has to be like a really big perk for you to say, I don't want to have to go sit on my couch to do this.
The way they do it in like, I remember the trailers for like the remote play stuff would have like MLB The Show, and then the person would be playing at home, and then they'd be like, shit, I'm late for work, and they'd get on the subway with their Vita and play it, and I'm just like, that's dishonest. That's not, you're like underground and like miles away from your PS4. That's never going to work.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I mean, at the time, I was like, that's amazing. And then you realize, oh, not really, because they just made it up. It just
You can
doesn't
set
work
up
like that.
a data account, right, that goes through your Vita. I understand the subway thing isn't a thing, but if you were above ground, ideally you would be able to actually make a network with your home account if you have access to some sort of data.
Is that true?
I believe that's a thing.
Sounds logical. I hope it's true.
I think that's a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it.
The Vita, yeah. Would you guys agree the Vita is like the adult handheld console, basically?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, I
pretty
love
much.
my 3DS though, and like, I play my 3DS probably 2 or 3 times a week.
So the real question now is Mathis an adult? I think we've known the answer is no for quite some time, though.
It's true. I don't know. Vita I just remember a couple years ago at E3, like the whole Sony conference was them begging you to buy a Vita. They're like, look at all the cool things the Vita now does. And I'm like, still don't care.
Right, and of course this year now we have seen basically nothing as far as the handheld market is concerned. The entire focus, the focus was really good this year. I really enjoyed where the big three were headed, like where their heads were as far as what people want. Seemed to be a lot less focus on the gimmicks and a lot more focus on, solid product offerings. So that kind of also meant there's not a lot of time devoted to the handheld marketplace. Is it? I don't know. It probably hasn't gotten any smaller, right? It probably hasn't died off in any noticeable fashion.
There's just nothing new for them to be pushing. The 3DS is there. It isn't going anywhere. The games are coming out for it, and Sony's like, we're not going to be able to do anything, and backed out.
So then the final weigh in here would be whether or not it's that big of a deal that Sony is withholding first-party support for the Vita. So
It's not profitable for them.
Just not profitable. That makes sense. Mm-hmm.
I don't
I
really
did see
care.
things saying they're releasing new colors, so I don't think they're just completely stopping or discontinuing it entirely. So that's good.
Yeah.
And as a late adopter, I'm glad that they're still putting something into it. I missed the first 3 or so years of its existence.
I don't know. I kind of like I can't care about it. Literally the only stuff on Vita I play is stuff that I already play on PC, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's like a cool opportunity to take it on the go. But at the same time, if they were like, hey, we're discontinuing Vita support for everything tomorrow, I would be like, well, you're not taking Spelunky off of my Vita. You're not taking, like, Isaac off of my Vita, so it doesn't really bother me. I don't think I've ever played anything except for indie games on the Vita. So maybe I haven't given it a fair shake, but...
No, you're not entirely off on that. I don't think I hardly have either. I have about maybe 4 or 5 cartridges that I own with it, and one of them is like Persona 4 Golden, which is great, and it's a great game, but I haven't really spent a lot of time on it, and granted, when I do, I'll probably be spending a ton of time on it, but it's just been on the back burner, and there aren't a lot of cartridges that I want to buy for it. It's just kind of mostly about PSN, and the fact that those things are integrated and having a new flow of each month, I get a couple more games, that some of them I want, some of them I don't want, and that's fine.
Right on. All right. Let's talk about something a lot more depressing. You want to do that?
Can't wait.
Okay.
The fact that I'm not on the Overwatch beta, because that's really upsetting me.
Are you still just refreshing the email inbox?
Every like 20
the entire
minutes.
show? Yeah.
At least
Like,
it's not
please.
unboxing magic cards.
Well, to
Nope,
distract you
not
from
right now,
that,
anyway.
Pardon me?
no one said magic.
Oh, I must have been confused.
Yeah, you were
So the
mistaken.
magic circle, it's different.
Yeah. Mathis, I want you to describe to me the plight of Overkill for the last couple weeks.
Oh, I don't want to talk.
I want you to talk about it. I want you to be impassioned about it too.
Oh God! Just let me bring it up and let me just describe it in a way that's not convoluted, and I'll just see what I
Impassioned
can-
already.
yeah.
So impassioned.
So it bothers me because it's a good. I enjoyed my. I know some people are like, man, it's all right, but like I
Talking about
enjoyed my
Payday
time.
2.
Yeah.
Payday 2,
Payday
correct.
2.
My time with the game when it came out. Thought it was an interesting take on the whole co-op Left 4 Dead style game. They took it down, motherfuckers.
What'd they take down?
They took down the AMA. I don't see it anymore. And they
What?
took down the rundown
terrible
of.
timing.
Oh man, well
Of
I
Crime
still
Wave.
have the cached version, so we still
All
got
right.
that at least. But
That's good.
yeah,
So and I mean, correct me if I butcher any particular details, which I'm sure I will. Basically, Payday 2 has been a $20 game for a while with like over $100 worth of DLC that you can opt into if you so choose. And recently they just introduced an update called the Black Market and like Crime Wave Weekend. Where
Crime
Wave,
Fest, I think is
Crime
what they called
Fest
it, yeah.
Weekend, which is it made it free for people. But at the same time that they made it free for like 3 or 4 days or whatever it was, they also introduced the Black Market, which was microtransactions. You might be like, oh, well, is it going to be cosmetics? That's not such a big deal if it's just cosmetics. That's where the problem is and why people are so pissed off. So it's your typical crate drops that you get. And the crates can drop on any number of things from skins for costumes, I believe, to weapons. But the problem is the skins, for the most part, give statistical, like, beneficial upgrades. And a lot of the time, the skins are for guns that you have to go pay, like money, to unlock. So it's like, I got the sweet skin that gives this shotgun, which is straight up pay to win, plus 5 damage, just as an example. I'm sure it doesn't say plus 5 damage or percentile increase. You go check the shotgun, you're like, oh, in order to get the shotgun, I have to buy the shotgun outright. And right away, initially when these microtransactions were introduced, you had to buy drills to open up the crates, which were $2.49 a drill. So you get if you guys remember, at the end of every Payday level, everybody gets a card.
Right.
You pick a card, you get a bonus. Usually it was a skin or a mask. Now those cards can be crates, essentially. Drills open the crates, $2.49. People were pissed off. They kind of alleviated that a little bit by making drills incredibly rare drops that you can get at the end of every level. Still a problem. But not only is the game straight up pay to win now, with the skins basically giving powerful upgrades to weapons, they also make you go buy the weapons for most of the skins that are being dropped. So it's just basically squeezing you for as much money as possible, on top of it being a $20 game with $100 worth of DLC attached to it.
and the DLC, obviously, I mean, like, you take that by itself, and it's really not that big of a deal. For a $20 game to have a bunch of DLC offerings, nobody really cares about that. That's not the problem here. The issue is that they're doing that very blatant pay-to-win scheme. And, okay, scheme is kind of a nasty word for it. That makes it sound like they're in the back room going, we got them now. But they're, they have a system in place now that is very clearly designed to give the people that are paying money a distinct advantage in the game. Which is, when it's a game that, pits people against each other in any meaningful fashion, that is a problem. That's a big deal.
Yep.
So
I'm just going to bring up... You keep talking because I'm going to bring up
It's a
the
game that
specifics.
it's been around for years already, so to completely change the general mechanism that drives it seems very curious to me.
yeah.
So, from my understanding and what I read in some of the AMA, was they didn't expect to be supporting the game as long as they have, and they got picked up or supported by a developer or producer, and they're contracted to support the game up through 2017. So they, I think what they're trying to do is find ways to continue to make the game profitable for 2 more years, and I feel like they went just in the wrong direction.
So there is one particular question and answer in the AMA that they did over on the Payday the Heist subreddit. So this AMA took place on their game subreddit, which is important to know too.
Okay.
But they're just doing damage control basically. Again, I'm really glad that we waited until they did this to talk about this topic, because now we have it straight from the developer's mouth. This is the big guy too. This is Almir. This is the dude over at Overkill. And
is this the same guy who said when the game was coming out there will never ever be microtransactions in Payday 2?
Yep. 2 years ago, 2013, Almir was quoted as saying, "There will never be microtransactions in Payday 2, and shame on you for thinking so." He said he shamed us for even having the idea, the inkling that there would be microtransactions in Payday 2.
Of anything.
How dare us?
Jesus.
But this answer is in regards to that very thing, where he stated on the Steam forums that they would not ever be having microtransactions in the game. It's about 8 paragraphs long, but here's the gist of it. Yes, we said that. Now we're going to have them. Sorry. But the other part of that is he starts to discuss how 2 years ago, when Payday 2 was at the top of the Steam charts, and, top 5 with the DLC even as well, they were doing extremely well. And here, let me just quote what he said. 2 years ago, people would have us instantly start work on Payday 3 right after we release Payday 2, like developers usually do. Instead, we decided to continue work on Payday 2 because we wanted to make it an incredible co-op experience. 88 updates later, we have to ensure the future survival of the game. And then he goes on a little bit more with sales details and all that sort of stuff. But that right there is kind of what I think is the backbone behind this entire decision. The decision not to work on Payday 3 and instead to try to, elongate the lifespan of Payday 2. Because it's been out for over 2 years now, and normally that is not, extremely sustainable for a not AAA game. For this studio, which has tripled in size, by the way, since its inception. Yep. Since Payday 2 came out, they have tripled the staff, meaning that obviously they have a lot more people whose bills they need to pay and mouths they need to feed in order to keep the company going. But they're not working on making another game. Everything this studio is doing right now is going into Payday 2, which means they kind of they've shoehorned themselves into a position where this late into the game's life cycle, they almost have to do stuff like this. They don't really have a choice.
What is an interesting question, though, but it's like the paradigm of like games as a product or games as a service. Like League of Legends is a service. Hearthstone is a service, basically, that is a platform for you to play this game on forever. It just keeps growing and changing, et cetera, et cetera. Or is it a product where it's like Payday 1, Payday 2, Payday 3? You can't kind of have it both ways, though. I kind of feel like that's got to be designed, or at least told to people a little earlier. Because if people buy this thinking like, oh, I'll buy this for $20 and then I'll get all the content and I can play it as long as I want, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, now we want to keep it going as a service, but in order to do that, we have to finance it through like these microtransactions that can compromise the balance of the original game. It sends a really bad message. Like, I think you kind of have to make that deviation earlier. Otherwise, you have this huge community of like millions of players that now have this expectation that they feel has been betrayed.
Yeah, like nobody's getting angry at Hearthstone for making a $25 expansion because that's part of the game. That's
well,
like okay, yeah, but
nobody is. There's always something mad about everything.
But yeah, that's exactly like you described it. It's expected. There's a precedent set very early on, and like this is going to be the model that we go by this entire time. And when you say something and then very deliberately and almost shamefully go back on it, that is what's really exactly like
on us.
That is what is spurring this entire ordeal.
And I really wonder how bad, if any, backlash would have been happening if it was straight up just cosmetic deal, like microtransactions, like you can buy very certain skins or whatever. If it was just that, like in CS:GO or whatever, where it's pretty, because they and I think one of the questions he straight up says, we looked at CS:GO as an inspiration for us.
Well,
Obviously.
I mean, like, but not really, because CS:GO doesn't sell statistical power upgrades for microtransactions. It's all cosmetic. So I don't know, man. I don't understand.
They've done paid DLC before, so why is this the preferable route? I guess just because it's more viable long term. You don't have to put in as much money, if any, development-wise would probably be it, right?
I mean, they've like they said, they've tripled the size. They probably have to pay a ton of people now, and if they have no future working on a Payday 3 or anything, they might as well just shoot down, just squeeze Payday 2 for all it's worth.
What is the precedent for an online multiplayer game being viable for more than 2 or 3 years? I mean, look at what we've talked about in the past, like Titanfall and Evolve. Those are newer than that, and both of them now probably don't have much of any audience.
If Titanfall and Evolve had been able to maintain this sort of community and, like general sense of goodwill and, like wish for the game to continue on that Payday has, or at least had, like, it's a different story. They
had a very active community.
They actually had bucked the trend. They have become the first one to do what all the others have been trying to do, and then they kind of threw it away, maybe.
Yeah, no, they almost entirely did. Like, they had something really special here. Payday's community was huge. They were so into it. They've been trying to be on Overkill's side for a very long time, and now it's just sort of being all ruined, almost. There's another part of this, too, that I think is a very interesting segment of the conversation. There's a question during the AMA as well that asks, how do you think adding stats to weapon skins, kind of promotes the game's healthy future? And their defense of it was that they don't believe it's pay to win because they balance the game around the base game, not on any DLC you might own or any stat boost you might have. What do you guys think of?
Really weird answer.
Yeah,
That's not really balancing it. That's ignoring
we're balancing it around the vanilla game, none of the $100 of DLC that people probably own. It's like, okay.
Yeah, no, I initially reading this, I'm like, no, that's not how you should do it. It's just like kind of objectively, that's wrong, right?
Well, based on the vanilla game, it's balanced.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the guys who have everything else. It's fine.
The thing that gets me, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's rich to comment on it without actually knowing what's happening inside of the studio, which is, I resent doing this, but at the same time, I'm reading the AMA, and it's all like, well, we had to do this to sustain our staff size of 75, blah, blah, blah. Look, I'm not going to say that I want people to be out of a job, but at the same time, how does that work from a management standpoint? Your game sells like a lot of incredible amount of copies. You triple in size within like 2 or 3 years, and then what do you think is going to happen? Like,
it's very short-sighted. I agree with you.
That's kind of what I'm trying to get at.
Like, triple in size if what you're going to do is send some of that development team to work on the sequel and keep some of them back to produce content for Payday 2, so that in 2 to 3 years you can be like, here's a teaser for Payday 3.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at a company like Paradox, they've exploded in size in like 6 or 7 years. Since their strategy stuff started finally taking off, but they are not coming out with like 2 games a year now. They've diversified and they have people doing other stuff. I guess they're not just putting crates in EU4 and saying
it's almost like I mean, it's almost like I mean maybe not comparable in the same way, but was it Rovio or Zynga or whatever that like put all their eggs in Angry Birds. And then when that stopped being a cash cow, they had to like cut.
Oh my God! What happened to Zynga? Where did they go?
As well, like those two companies did very similar things. Where they had two very each one had a very successful game, like one game, Angry Birds, and like Farmville for the other one. They blew up. They explode. Like they tripled their company size. And when those two games dried up and they had nothing else, they had to fire a ton of people.
It's like they say on Shark Tank all the time. It's the difference between having a product and having a company. They had a product and they called it a company.
Yeah. I think the other thing is, and I have no management experience, but it seems to me like your revenue should dictate the number of employees, not like your number of employees dictates what your revenue should be. But that might be maybe a bit of an idealistic concept, I guess.
It's like if one of us just like we're super small, we had one video go super viral and we quit our job.
Yeah, that's basically what I was saying. And then you're like, hire a manager.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, it would be better
and-
if you got like a million views on one video and decided to hire 2 people to help you run your channel. Like,
You're
that's
like, I
about,
get 10 views a video. One of them goes super viral. I quit my job. I hire an artist. I hire a manager, and I
you
hire somebody to
throw-
run my Twitter.
Like every video now is a minute long. You throw mid rolls in, and you're like, "Sorry guys, I got to throw the mid rolls in because I got to sustain the people that I hired." It's like
Let's play Assassin's Creed Syndicate Part
This is
1.
great.
1 minute per.
I still just feel like they have they not made like $1 quadrillion? Like Payday and Payday 2 are unbelievably successful.
they did. They made a lot of money.
I think they made $8 million in profit.
I mean, Payday 2, Steam Spy, as we've been told many times, is not immutable in terms of its data, but it does estimate it as having fucking 5.4 million owners on Steam. 5.4 million. And then Payday 1 has got to be at least like a couple million.
A couple
I'm
million,
assuming.
I would imagine. Yeah.
No, it's not a couple million. It's 4 million.
Jesus Christ! Wow,
That's like 9, close to 10 million units on PC alone.
that's gigantic. That is huge. Ubisoft has plaques up in their offices for 2 million units sold. I'm serious.
Wow.
Like, that's big. That's twice as much.
Wow, that's 2 plaques and more.
Yeah, they got 2 plaques worth.
You should tell them that. They'd be so happy.
I'll give
2
them a
plaques
plaque.
worth.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man.
We believe it isn't pay to win as we balance the game around the base game, not on any DLC you
And
might
then
own.
introduced more things that don't fall into that balance.
AKA, the game's not balanced. Give us money.
How do you?
They're literally just agreeing that it's not balanced with that statement.
Yeah. How do you say that out loud and think, yeah, you know
Yeah,
what?
no, I don't
that's
what I
right.
just said.
I will say that in spite of all this, I do feel somewhat for the development and design side of Overkill, where they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. You know, if their alternatives were like, or their choices were do this to finance, to basically turn Payday 2 into a platform that Payday can be played upon eternally.
Yeah.
Or announce Payday 3. Even though it's been like it would probably be 3.5 years since Payday 2 by the time Payday 3 came out. People would still be like, why would I buy Payday 3? You know, I just bought Payday 2.
Yeah.
Even though it's like an undergraduate degree ago. But I think that if you are going to transition like this, okay, you have a couple of options. You can do it the CSGO way, flat fee for the game, cosmetic items. People will be mad, but they'll get over it. And they'll spend money.
Right.
If CSGO is any indication. Or make it free and then do this and like exactly the same model you already have, and then people will be like, well, the game's free, but you can support it by buying stuff. You feel good about it maybe.
Right.
Or just make it cost $20, keep selling like 100,000 units a month, and then maybe that's okay.
Right.
You can do
Right.
whatever.
If that's
okay.
not okay, God hope that you have the time to reevaluate your business model.
That's what it's like. Why? Like, I mean, if you're gonna
This
do
whole
this,
thing
make
is
the
not-
game free. I don't understand. Like, because like Ryan said, at
Want it
least
both
maybe
ways.
people can swallow it if you make it free and introduce microtransactions. But you're like $20, please. Also, here's like 1 million microtransactions. Also, here's a ton of DLC. But
And
we
you'll
balance
have
it
a
around
worse-
vanilla.
You'll have a worse time if you don't spend more money.
Right.
You will definitely have. You will see other people having a better time having spent more, and that is clearly the reason for it.
But we balanced it around the original games.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're starting to repeat ourselves a little
circles,
bit here,
yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
more or less the. I mean, we're trying to provide an answer. I think for it. Really, I think we're trying to get to sort of a point of closure on this. But
It's that they double dipped.
yeah, it's kind of just a big mess, and sorry. We're sorry on behalf of Overkill and like anyone who's having a bad time with this.
You really can't betray your community in this, especially like if you're making like a ton of money. Like you're already. I know that the people that are working at Overkill are like junior programmer number 90 is not like a millionaire because of his work at Overkill, but the studio has what is to us an unfathomable amount of money. And then to be like, well, this game was like 30 times more successful than we could have imagined when the first game came out, which was only 4 years ago. But we've gotten like too big too fast. To me, what it is like it sends the wrong message of like we're a business, we're not a game development studio, which is unfortunately a fact of life, or it maybe even not unfortunately. But you know, you look at like look at Jonathan Blow, who makes like a couple $1 million, maybe even a little bit more on Braid, and then puts all of that money and then like 9 years into making The Witness because he wants to make games. He doesn't want to make money. What Overkill is doing is saying like we need to sustain this game to sustain 75 employees seems like the antithesis of that to me.
Right.
Right.
If you're one dude with a dream, you can sustain your dream and take risks like that. But when you have 75 people that need to live,
exactly, there
is no dream involved at that point. It's just how can we stay viable?
There's actually a very damning post made to follow up one of Overkill's responses in the AMA. He mentioned that, you know, we're getting to this broader point of they're having to do what they're doing in order to keep their studio afloat, right? But someone actually posts in response their financial reports to their investors, which, you know, there's a press release for it. This is from August 27th, and like every single data point is reflecting how they're having better revenue in Q4 of 2015 than they've ever had as a company.
They have to look good for their investors.
Yeah, but that's kind of, it's really just like the nail in the coffin when you can see that and just immediately disprove the point of, oh, you know, we're having to do this to keep us all going. When, I mean, again, I have a minimal amount of managerial experience, so I don't want to, you know, like have to broaden the scope again, but this is just, it just looks like a badly managed situation over the course of years. It seems like the kind of thing that's been happening as a result of them just not being able to lock down the route they wanted to take. And now it's blown up, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Also, Zynga is trading at $2.39 a share if you're interested.
That shit bothers me. That is even worse. It's like I actually think that Overkill wants to make games. Zynga is like, you know, Farmville's huge. Now we can all be like turbo millionaires like we always wanted. Why? Like, even without any managerial experience, I'm like, if I had a game, and let's say I had a team of 20 people, and we made, let's not say Farmville, but let's say, what was it? Draw
Candy
Something,
Crush?
right?
Oh, okay.
So Draw Something, I am totally in their camp, where they made a game, not even a company, basically, and then they had a choice between like growing it into a big company and taking risks, or like to make what? To make more mobile games. It's not like they need the resources. Right. Or they could cash out for like $10 billion. It wasn't $10 billion, but let me see what Draw Something sold for. I can't remember, but $183 million.
Jesus, wow.
Why in the world, as a game developer, would you choose to build a business instead of taking your share of $183 million and then making whatever you want forever?
Right, you get to do like whatever you want.
Zynga's stock price literally dropped by a penny while you were talking.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know this updated automatically. That's pretty cool.
Isn't the only other element in that equation ego then? That you just believe in yourself so much, and you have this inflated sense of ego that like I'm worth more than $183 million.
Yeah.
That's what will keep someone there.
I don't know, man.
Well, when your passion is in it, I think that's kind of what Ryan is getting at, is that there's people who they blow up and their passion is still in the thing that they have become incredibly successful at, so they continue at it and they try to get even better at it. Or there's people that have made a thing and that thing has become wildly successful and they're perfectly fine with just saying, okay, cool, I did it.
No, I'm totally with you, and I'm totally for the whole passion thing. I'm like, that's what makes me excited about video games in general. But how excited can you be about Draw Something? How passionate can you be about that?
Let's ask David Cage. We'll find out how passionate you can really be about something.
Not that it's even a bad game, but it's just, I think everybody almost was looking at stuff like this at the time that happened and being like, really? Like that? You're going to regret that. But when we look back, it's going to seem even sillier, I think. You're like, you made one game, it was like a time management game about farming. It got huge, and you tried to make it like a Like a 500-person company?
Business, yes.
What are
Like
you
a
talking
culture.
about? It's like
Publicly traded
Wait.
Farmville.
you invented like the Rubik's Cube, and then you try to like spin that into being Google or something like that. It just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
All right, Mathis, you found something here.
Yeah, Overkill is working on another game.
Oh,
They're working on The Walking Dead.
What?
Overkill's The Walking Dead, produced by Starbreeze Studios.
I
Here's
feel
the
like we
link.
should have remembered that.
I didn't. There you go. There's a link. Starbreeze Games, Walking Dead. Overkill's The Walking Dead.
oh.
They're working on that. I only looked that up
So
because I
they're going to
knew.
be really hard up for money when this Walking Dead first-person shooter comes out.
Right. I was looking at that because I knew that Starbreeze was working with Overkill on something. I couldn't remember if they owned them because I looked up Starbreeze's stocks, which actually plummeted a little bit over the past couple days, which I don't know has anything to do with it.
Starbreeze produced Brothers?
Yes.
Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Freaking
No, they didn't
5
plummet. It
degrees
just
of
dropped
separation.
a little bit. Starbreeze stocks have dropped a couple points.
I didn't look at this as a thing that would really cause stock prices to drop, by the way. I'm pretty sure none of the people looking at that data give a goddamn about whether or not these
But they are
microtransactions
working.
are
They're
going
working
on.
on The Walking Dead. They're
Yeah.
working on a Walking Dead game for 2016 because that, like you said, because that's gonna flop.
Yeah.
Right.
Terrible.
I'm concerned about their ability to generate revenue. What with that most lucrative license, except for the NFL on Earth right now.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to tug at our heartstrings for a while yet. Oh, boy, that was...
To be fair, you probably do need a pretty large staff to make a game on a license like that will impress people.
I'm really confused by the sarcasm here because there have been Walking Dead games that have totally flopped. So, like, why are we so...
Yeah,
Well,
but
those, I mean, okay, we're looking at Earl and Durl in a game.
Yeah, that's
in
what we're
a
looking
much
at.
different light than I think Overkill's upcoming
Okay.
Walking Dead attempt.
Well, so there's
And-
just a lot of confidence then.
I'm sure that Survival Instinct, it sold more than it should have. Let's put it that way. 70,000 owners on Steam, which is not necessarily good, but I imagine that is the kind of game that probably got picked up by people who didn't know any better.
4
and, like, a Radio
million
Shack.
people own Payday 2. 4
Yeah.
million.
And it's pretty wild.
That is outstanding. Wow, okay.
Take a look at the Steam forums.
Yeah, you go read the Payday 2 Steam forums. That's going to be a good time.
I could probably make like 3 videos out of this
I
controversy.
bet you
Oh
could.
my god.
Make a bunch of money, man. You make that video. You tell
Get a
people to
piece of the
share it
pie.
around so that Overkill sees what they've done. You need to be the voice of reason. Here.
Damn it, Overkill! You done it!
Yeah, that's how you
just
start
Shit
it.
on our hearts.
That's all you have to do is like 10 seconds at the beginning. You're just going, no, come on, Overkill, damn it.
The first 3 seconds were me being like, I heard there was news on Overkill. And then I start reading it, and then my eyes slowly widen.
Yeah.
No! God damn it!
I want you to raise enough money through your videos that you can send them the 2 plaques that they're owed.
I need to put in a lot of mid-rolls for that, though.
That's okay. It's part of the job.
All right. For years, YouTube's fans have been telling us they want more. More choice when watching their favorite content, more ways to support their favorite creators, and above all, the option to watch their favorite videos uninterrupted.
The top trending guy just show up? What just happened? That's pretty good.
Put this up on E-Bombs World.
Yeah.
Oh, don't. They hate me there. YouTube Red is a thing.
Sure
$9.99
is.
a month. Costs, or the full package removes ads from the entirety of YouTube, and you get to watch things offline.
And Google
And-
Music subscription.
And
Google Play music thing? Yeah.
Exclusive PewDiePie series.
Yeah, man. That thing actually does not look bad. I thought that was a pretty good idea for a TV show based around PewDiePie. I kind of like it.
And other content as well will be there.
If you don't know what we're talking about, YouTube Red is the brand new, just announced, and it should be going into effect. Actually, is that going to be when?
Like a
this goes
couple
up?
days, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow for us.
Oh,
it'll
okay.
be
So
live.
it will be live. Okay, so there you go. So people will have already been experiencing YouTube Red. So yet again, we
Classic
get to
us.
yeah, that's very, very true. The sell of this product is kind of tough right now, just because, you know, it's in its infancy again, and most things in their infancy in this day and age tend to, you know, have a struggle to start up with. But I also don't know about the future of it. I'm talking specifically about the offering of YouTube Red to the consumer right now. Clearly, there's a whole nother discussion to be had about what YouTube Red actually means to us as creators. But if you're looking at this from the perspective of somebody who watches YouTube and wants to get YouTube Red or potentially is thinking about it, what are you thinking right now?
I could get ad block for free.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on.
No, I don't.
No,
yeah,
I don't. I
disagree with
agree that that's not the right opinion, but I think that a lot of people
No,
have that
I
opinion.
No,
agree.
because, okay, so here's my argument against that. The people who are saying that already have ad block. The people who
Yes.
aren't are going to be the people who say, I want to support these people and I don't want ads. I will pick up
Okay.
YouTube Red. I think the people who... There's going to be a very small conversion rate from people who already have ad block to YouTube Red because the people who want ad block have it already. That's my opinion. I think that the people who are going to pick up YouTube Red are maybe a small number of people who have ad block and say, if this is my way of supporting creators, instead of using ad block, I will. And the people who don't have ad block who watch the ads and say, hey, I can get what I want with no ads, and I can support them the same way I would be if I was watching ads already, I'll grab this. I think that's the people.
I love to think that there are a lot of people who think like that. And we're talking about, you know, like the big scale of all the consumers of YouTube content. The people who are having those thoughts run through their mind are probably in the very small margin, right? Still, I mean, even though I think it's gotten better, I think there's still a lot of people who aren't really aware of those sort of repercussions.
If somebody is already going to be like, well, I can get an ad block for free, then there's nothing for those people that you can give.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, ad block is the perfect solution, and I don't feel like that's like strange to say. It's a free plugin that makes it so you don't see ads. If that's literally the only thing you're concerned about, like, you can exempt yourself from the conversation because you've solved it from your perspective. Like, there's never going to be a better value proposition than the thing that does what you want for free.
For free.
The only way it would be better is if it did what you wanted for free and also supported the people you liked.
Yeah. I've had this like internal dilemma actually about something that not even was YouTube related. I had this about deciding upon a gym to go to near my house. Like, when you're looking at two competing products or services and you're a consumer and you're worried about getting what you want at the cheapest price and having everything you need, right? I have two gyms. One of them is smaller, further away, but is locally owned. And, you know, it would feel good to support like a family-owned business. There's also like a chain that's down the street, cheaper, and has more equipment. I'm going to go with the chain. I can't not go with the chain, right? So when you have something like this, YouTube Red is offering, you pay for a couple extra perks, whereas with AdBlock, as you mentioned, it's basically the perfect solution if you don't want to watch ads, but you want to watch YouTube. It's tough to compete with that.
It's the same number of people who are going to pick up YouTube Red as the same number of people who have Twitch Turbo.
Yeah.
Not many. And it will have no bearing or effect on any of us.
Well, that kind of ruins the entire conversation.
I don't fully agree with Mathis, but I think I have a tendency to. How many times have we woken up to some YouTube news and then our Twitter feed is just YouTubers like, oh, the sky is falling, nobody cares about us, blah, blah, blah. Fucking content ID, tip jar. Like, I'm
managed
not
versus unmanaged.
Right, and some of those things have had big repercussions, I'll admit. But at the same time, YouTube's still here. People are still growing. You know, new people are popping up every single day. And, like, some of the stuff we've talked about, like tip jar, you can spend, like, 6 hours having a conversation about tip jar on YouTube. Nobody makes any money on tip jar. You know, nobody's making. You might make lunch for 1 month. I don't even.
I've made $4.
Yeah, it's like tip jar doesn't make anybody.
I did a positive change, actually.
It's not even worth the time spent to discuss it. So I really don't want to get too invested in the conversation on YouTube Red until we see it in action. Because yeah, Twitch Turbo is like the same thing. You get paid based on the viewing share, and it makes no appreciation. I've never heard someone be like, "Man, my revenue is really down this month because so many people got Turbo in the Humble Bundle." Like, it's never happened. But I will say the thing that is interesting is the free trial thing that they're doing. We don't know, so I don't want to kick up any fervor. But if YouTube ends up doing that free trial in November for U.S. viewers, and a lot of people redeem it, and it doesn't actually pay out to creators, that'd be a little fucked up. But you still have to see how it's actually going to manifest itself. It might have some impact. It might have 5% impact. It might have 0 impact.
Mm-hmm. So, like Mathis said, the audiences are probably similar. I agree with you there. The amount of people that buy YouTube Red will probably be comparable as far as relative size goes to the amount of people that buy Twitch Turbo. Let's call that 1% even. Let's say it's 1%. So let's say out of a random figure that there are 10,000 people watching YouTube and that 1% of those people buy YouTube Red. So that's 100 people. And that is not going to make a difference as far as creators are concerned. Though the free trial, whether or not we're actually paid for that, is going to make even less of a difference, I think. There's going to be a lot of people watching that probably is not going to be a number that we have to worry about. This may be, as far as the big changes go, the least impactful on the bottom line.
Yeah.
Out of a lot of stuff. Just because...
which is funny because it's a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers are treating it as the biggest change.
Yeah.
This is what's seeing people kick up their own personal Patreons and stuff. Which I'm like, if this is what's causing you, I'm surprised it didn't-
to be
They're
fair,
using it as an excuse to throw something
yeah.
in front of it is all it is.
Yep. That's what it is.
It's a hot button issue that a lot of people are talking about, and if you can play it up to turn it into your own advantage, then that's what people are going to do. We see this happen every day in every possible scenario.
It's true, and
I'm not going to be that cynical about it, but I think what it actually is it comes from a place of like uncertainty because YouTube doesn't communicate things that well.
Yeah.
So you hear a rumor maybe that people aren't going to get paid for YouTube Red, and you're like, oh, this is the end. Like, gotta get my Patreon up before everybody gets their Patreon up in 2 weeks when everybody realizes it. So I mean, I don't think it's a cynical like trying to manipulate people into supporting you thing, but I do think it's a little premature.
I think it's I kind of agree with what Nick said. Like, I think there are people that sort of use it as like a spurn to get whatever personal funding source they needed to going. And obviously we're not going to take a dump on people using Patreon because that would be incredibly hypocritical, wouldn't
obviously.
it? But it's just sort of another one of those let's create a video that gains 10 million views. It's kind of like, the Overkill video that we were joking about earlier. That's the kind of thing that people could sort of use this for. And YouTube Red is not the run to the hills emergency that it's sort of being plugged up to be.
Well, I feel like people really don't realize, most people really don't realize how little you make per view, like on a per view basis.
Yeah.
There are people who are like, well, I really hope that if I get YouTube Red, it still supports the people that I watch, like to the same degree that I do with ads. And I'm like, man, if you're putting $10 a month into the YouTube economy, that's probably like a tenfold increase on the amount that you actually generate through revenue by watching ads. Like we can talk about it fairly openly. Like, Twitch subscription income versus Twitch ad income is like a world of difference. Like it could be, your subscription revenue, depending on your numbers, could be 5 times, 4 times what your ad revenue is.
It's like 90-10 if I was to say.
Like ads, there are people who are like, well, I don't know, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, but if you actually look at like the CPMs that we get, which is the ad rate that we get paid, to make up for like a $10 cash influx, if you want to call it that, would take you watching like literally 100 videos a day.
Like, even just look at that from the smallest possible scale. Look at that from one individual person. The amount of money that you put into somebody's revenue stream by subscribing to them on Twitch is not even mathematically comparable to the amount of money you generate from them by watching an ad.
For a year.
Yeah.
1 month of subscription might pay for your lifetime of viewing, basically.
It's true.
And by the way, please don't take this as a push for like, well, so you fucking freeloaders, like, better subscribe on Twitch.
No,
that's where the real money is.
We're just explaining it.
Right.
And also don't use this to undervalue watching an ad, because we do.
Also true.
Yeah, we do still rely on the advertisement revenue. So,
but
it's still a big part of it.
Basically, the reason I bring that up is because people were like, I don't know, $10 doesn't seem like that much money. And I'm like, well, it is relative to watching ads. Even if YouTube takes half of it right off the cut, $5 is, what that could be like you watching 2,000 videos or 1,500 videos in a month. That's 50 videos a day. Yeah. Some people probably do that, but they got to be outliers, I think.
Yeah.
And even still, if that's it, you break even. You get to watch ads and contribute exactly the same amount. But that's why I feel like maybe there's a little bit of misinformation there that like somehow creators are going to get fucked. And they might, depending on how the revenue split ends up happening. But I'm intent to wait and see. I can't imagine, like, YouTube is going to... If Red takes off, YouTube will have so much more money.
Yeah.
That it would... Even if they fucked us, we might still be making more. Like,
I guess
YouTube,
the fear, if Red takes off, is that advertisers are going to put less money into the system.
No, they're not.
That's what people. That's the conversation topic that keeps coming up.
Oh, and also that they might be misrepresenting how the split happens. That you're subscribing to support creators you like, but you might not be supporting people that you like.
True. We have to wonder about the split too. I mean, obviously, it's another one of those YouTube things where there are numbers that exist and they're in this magical, ethereal realm that no one ever gets to touch or mess with. But I like the idea that that pool is divided by the amount of time you spend watching certain channels. So this has been sort of the hypothetical that people are tossing out as far as the, you know, what we can speculate how YouTube Red's pot is divided for people, is that for that $10 a month for one person, if they spend 80% of their time watching PewDiePie videos for that month, then $8 should go to PewDiePie, right? That would make sense.
You know, minus whatever YouTube's going to take as an admin fee up front.
Yeah, of course. But, like, you know, just like comparatively speaking, that if he gets that giant, if he gets that giant chunk of the pot, then that would be fair. By the way, I put WD-40 in my microphone boom arm a month and a half ago.
Yeah, that's not working out so well.
It's not a good idea. Don't ever do it.
But if you have a PS4. If you have a PS4 controller with squeaky hinges, do put it on there, because it's kept mine good for a year.
Nice. Well,
just a little, like a smidge of a drop on the end of a Q-tip. Don't put a solid drop in there. That'll be a problem.
All right, and that has been our regular segment of good and bad uses of WD-40. We'll have that one recurring soon.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
But, okay, so this... I sort of segued into, you know, the next big controversial part of all this, which is whether or not people are going to be seeing the sort of splits from YouTube Red's platform that they want to. You know, there's always going to be the big issue of smaller channels are getting screwed and the rich get richer and that sort of thing. And that's, I mean, I don't want to say it so bluntly, but you sort of just have to live with that, because that's going to happen all the time, forever, and has throughout the course of human history.
My perspective on that, just very quickly, is that if everybody is making more money, what do I care if PewDiePie is making proportionally more money than I'm making as a bonus here? Like, that doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Like, we just don't know if we're making any more either.
The grocery store down the street is not going to raise its prices because PewDiePie is making proportionally more money. Like, it benefits me.
If they did, that would be bizarre, though, right?
Don't tell Overkill, though.
Yeah. We need to keep those crate prices static. But yes, you may continue, Bear.
Oh, Nick, I think you were starting on something.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's fine. I was just saying that we don't necessarily know that we're going to be making more either. It might just be that, in essence, they're using every channel to funnel more money up.
Yeah.
Probably not true, but we just don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of this is really cleared up if YouTube, for once, would just say, here's how this works. And then we don't have to spend half an hour speculating.
I guess, like, I sort of don't get it in a weird way. Like, PewDiePie already gets disproportionate benefits on YouTube, and that's how it goes. Like, he makes YouTube like $10 million a year. Is it wrong for me to say that he deserves special treatment? Like, I know that he's a hot button issue for a number of different reasons, but like, just strictly from a bottom line perspective, I have no resentment that, like, if YouTube's going to push a channel, they're going to push PewDiePie, or they're going to push like the you know, Teens React stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it goes. And you know what? Like, they've invested in the platform. Like, it's not like I feel like I should be getting that instead. Like, that stuff's obviously doing well. But anyway, I guess that's another issue for another day.
Yeah.
But it's already disproportionate, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. And I sort of feel like it should be, but that's probably not necessarily cut and dry.
And on that same note, something you said a little while ago actually really struck a chord with me about that idea, which is to say that PewDiePie has literally become the #1 YouTube entertainer. He's the best. He is the best YouTuber by numbers. You know, like, I'm not saying like quality or anything of that sort of argument. I'm just saying, like, if you look at YouTube, PewDiePie is #1. Therefore, it stands to reason that he should be able to do this stuff. He should be the star. He should be the face of it. He should be the person getting his own TV show and seeing the best results from the stuff that YouTube is doing. And
my God, it's like how business works.
Right? Whoa. That's so surprising. People shouldn't really have an issue with that. Just like, I am excited about the prospect of people being able to watch without ads and still support me. And I take no issue with how much of that money I'm not getting. I love that I might be getting a little bit more of that money. Like, right. That's really exciting. But it's just so, I think it's blown out of proportion and also sort of misguided about what it is that people are really upset about.
I guess what I hear a lot, that maybe I've misrepresented, is they're like, they don't want, if they put $10 into the system and they never watch PewDiePie, or just as an example, they don't want any of that money to go to PewDiePie.
He's just the most convenient example, by the way. We're not really like trying to talk specifically about him all the time.
It's not like PewDiePie is like,
it's
not like I'm saying like he's a morally reprehensible like piece of shit. So I don't want it's like drug money or something like that. Blood diamonds, right? But they're like, well, I wanted to go.
That's a whole nother idea. Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to go to like the people that I support and I support only, but I don't know, like, isn't it? Like, if you put in $10 into the system and then you exclusively watch Mathis games, you are
smart man
disproportionately buffing up Mathis's games view time in the YouTube Red system. Technically, all of the money that you put into the system, at least after YouTube's cut, would be going to Mathis games with our assumption of how the system works. It's not like you put in $10 and now you own the 30 million that YouTube is making from YouTube Red, and then like some of it goes to PewDiePie and you get mad about it. Like, it is almost proportional already from my perspective, but
I thought the thing that was still up for debate was where that pool gets divided, and if it gets divided amongst everyone in the entirety of the system.
That's what the YouTube Splash said, was that it's going to be divided based on proportional to view time for every partner that's opted into YouTube Red.
That's more or less the only like official word from YouTube that we've gotten on it. That is going to be more or less how the split works. But of course, we don't know the numbers.
Yes. So this conversation,
I still don't think it's going to be a huge thing either. So
I agree with you, actually.
Man, if they would just give individual subscriptions.
Yeah, and that's
it would be that's the perfect way to show support of your creators, man.
We've been asking for that for fucking months, even on just this show.
Like,
it is a good step. It's
a start.
Go another step.
It's a huge company. It takes a while to get the wheels moving. And I don't know, man. I do kind of get a little resentful sometimes when I see like YouTube announces something and immediately, almost every time, it's like, fuck YouTube, fucking, like, I know that they built this platform that enables me to like do my job, but fucking this sucks, stupid and then like this uproar. And if I was YouTube, I'd be like, why would I ever try? Like, why would I try to do new things? Like, if it's working out okay for me already, maybe it's not. But
I don't know if I would say why would I try to do new things. I would say why would I ever try to deal with the backlash of these new things?
Yeah,
they don't.
I guess.
Yeah, they don't have to. I guess there's no reason for them to subject themselves to that. Yeah.
I'll also say from like a non-partner standpoint, I think it's a pretty good deal. I think $10 for a Google Play Music subscription and YouTube without ads seems like a fair price point for me. Now, to be fair, Netflix is $12, or $12 for 4K resolution, like $9 for regular subscription, and you get access to like almost every piece of media ever made. But that's kind of an unrealistic expectation, I feel like $10 is kind of a fair price point for that, considering what you get.
YouTube at least acknowledges that they have to offer a little bit more than just like, ad-free viewing of their website. They're definitely going down the route, obviously, of creating their own premier original content that you can get by way of YouTube Red. But I think they're going to be a ways off as far as being able to offer something legitimate there. It's sort of just, I don't even know is there anything besides the PewDiePie show that's lined up for the YouTube Red premiere?
There's a small list. There was, I think, at least 5 or 6 different.
YouTube Red launch shows.
That's what I'm going for. Yeah. And people are like, "Man, I hope you don't make your shit YouTube Red specific." I'm like, "Yeah, it's not gonna happen." Like, it's a #1 recipe for like killing your channel. Okay, so I've got the list here. Right. Scare PewDiePie. Yep. Sing It from the Fine Brothers, a scripted comedy that satirizes reality singing competitions. Cool. All right. Laser Team is a full-length or feature-length action comedy from Rooster Teeth. Trip to Unicorn Island from the team and Astronauts Wanted. This feature-length movie gives fans an extraordinary look inside the life and journey of Lily Singh. Untitled Joey Graceffa Project. You can probably figure that one out for yourself. 360 Project from Matt Pat of Game Theory. Single by 30 in this romantic drama by blah, blah, blah. Untitled College Humor Product. I Am Tobuscus, a scripted comedy show from Toby Turner. That's about it.
I Am Tobuscus.
Where is I Am Isaac? The Isaac Let's Play. More than I.
You gotta get on that YouTube Red train, man.
Will Ryan finally defeat Green Man?
I'm kind of with Bear, where I'm like, a show where PewDiePie gets scared by shit, kind of like a prank show, could be funny.
Yeah, I might watch it.
Just a prank, bro.
Yeah,
it's just a prank.
He just starts getting beat up as they're screaming. It's just a prank, bro.
Now we're talking about beating up PewDiePie. Now we're really getting into dangerous territory.
I kind of like him, to be honest with you.
I think he's a good guy. All right, well, YouTube Red I don't think is going to scare anybody off, but they sure will act like it, won't they?
I do dislike that it's US only, but that's the law, and, so cool.
Yeah, normally those...
I will sign up for it, personally.
You think you will?
I will.
You will, for sure. Okay.
I don't use AdBlock. I never have, and it would be nice.
I also have never used AdBlock.
Oh, well, on that note, by the way, now that we were talking about that, remove AdBlock Pro, because it's kind of fishy now.
Really?
PSA to everybody.
Well, what's the specifics of that?
It was sold to a new owner, and that new owner is very mysterious and is doing some weird things with it. It's overkill.
Shit!
They did it again!
Yeah. You can keep using whatever AdBlock you want, but I appreciate it if you don't, by the way. Okay.
I actually, when I first used Kate's computer, it had AdBlock on it, and I didn't notice any difference for the most part.
Yeah?
I don't know. I guess I think I've spent so much time on the internet seeing ads that they're just like already, they just fade away into noise when I see them for the most part. The ads I find super annoying are when you go to like Forbes and then it's like, here's an ad and in 10 seconds you can skip to the web page. And I'm like, you fucking clickbait. God, you got me.
You're going to the right websites, man. I can give you a couple of options if you're looking for websites that know how to ruin your viewing experience via ads.
The ones where they gray out the background, and then there's like a pop-up, and you got to click through it, and then sign up for something before the rest of the background will come out.
God. Or there's like 9 play buttons, and you're like, which one of these is not an ad?
You got to look at the bottom bar.
I think you're trying to watch some online sports. If those are the kind of ads you're seeing, aren't
well,
you?
we have cable, so I don't need to go that far. But
okay.
I think Kate was trying to watch like Game Center CX, that like Japanese show about the guy who just sits in a room and beats a game over the course of like several days. And we're like, I don't know where to find this. So she found like a kind of sketchy website, but it was like it had like 4 play buttons on the video frame.
Yeah.
Like, which one do I have to?
Is this really worth it now?
1 in 4 chance, 1 in 4 chance. No keylogger, no keylogger.
Exactly.
That's a legitimate concern you're taking with that.
There's a 1 in 4 chance that I can watch this video, and a 3 in 4 chance I'm going to install malware accidentally. It seems like a bad idea, but.
And for those people, we recognize the value of AdBlock.
Well, if I wanted to watch it without doing that, I should just move to Japan and get a subscription to the cable service.
See? Now you're learning.
When will Japan start giving a digital distribution service for their shows for Canadian viewers? It's like, it's 2015.
Speaking of weird, intrusive web page stuff, this page wants to install a service handler?
What page are you on?
I'm on Gmail. What does that mean? Should I let it? What's a service handler?
to install a service handler Chrome.
Oh, it's cool. It's like a little thing to open email links. Okay, anyway, that doesn't matter. Time for Ask Roundtable. It's everybody's favorite part of the show where you send in questions to roundtableYT@gmail.com and we do our best to answer them. And this question comes from Stuart. Stuart wants to know, what is the perfect game to you? By which I mean, what genre, mechanics, art style, story, soundtrack, any other aspects would you envision as the perfect game? Thank you, Stuart, for that question. Nick!
Yeah.
What's your
This is a
perfect
really
game?
easy one for me, actually.
Is it? Oh, good.
I thought it was going to be hard, and then I gave it a couple minutes. I was like, you know what? Actually, this is pretty easy. Gigantic-ass Symphony of the Night with high-res sprites. So, like, 200-plus hours of roaming the most expansive castle full of every possible mythological creature to collect all of the items and gain all of the abilities.
There you go.
I will also throw out Mega Man with all of the bosses put into one game.
Oh, like a Shadow of the Colossus Mega Man.
Well, like, just imagine you get to the screen where you pick which boss, and it's got, like, 85 heads to pick from.
Oh, that'd be cool. Okay.
And then
yeah,
you just
I like
spiral out of control Isaac style by the end. You're just like a fucking god.
that. Nice. That sounds
mine.
really cool,
Or
actually.
you're
I
the
want to play
shittiest
that.
build of all time, and you can barely do any damage.
Yeah, well, you pick all the wrong ones to go down the route of all 80 bosses.
There you go.
All right, Mathis, what do you got?
I don't know.
Come on, man. What's
the
your
one where
what's
I
your
can punch
early
a tree and
access?
survive, right?
Yeah.
Early access, survival, zombie, apocalypse,
With collectible trading cards.
right? And microtransactions and glitchy zombies. I don't know. I think every time I think about this question, I go back to what did I have the most fun with back when I was younger, and I think a game similar to the way Star Wars Galaxies worked, the MMO, which is like a much harder core MMO. I would love to see a hardcore non-theme park MMO come back, where you know whatever you're doing at the time is a skill that improves. Not pick a class, you get to kind of form your own class. I'd like to see that happen again. It's been so long since we've had a game like that, and I could see myself losing a bajillion hours into it.
All right. Ryan, what do you got?
You know,
It's already Isaac. Weird.
I'm just going to describe Isaac. Yeah. For me, the games that I gravitate most towards are short and replayable. That doesn't only include Isaac and Spelunky and stuff like that, but Magic the Gathering is kind of in the same boat. You know, it's like a 40-minute experience or a 20-minute experience that's repeatable and is different every time. Deep level of strategy, but also fairly accessible. That doesn't necessarily
And a little
apply to
random.
Magic. A little bit of randomness, yeah, so you don't know what's coming. And yeah, I think that's it for me. It's like short, replayable, and like medium variance, and that's pretty much it. Like, I'm not gonna put it in like a genre or anything. That's about it.
Never in my life thought I would hear a comparison between Isaac and Magic the Gathering.
It's the same game basically. Isaac is just a non-competitive Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering is an Isaac-like trading card game.
It's basically true. Magic the Gathering is a roguelite. Now, is Magic the Gathering a roguelite?
Or
Next
is it a
time.
That's the
roguelike?
headline, yeah.
That's my next video.
It's not a true roguelite. It's only
It's not a yo, shithead, this is not a roguelite. It's not like games that are like Rogue.
Oh man.
How about
It's
you,
almost
Bear?
like things get redefined over time.
No, that doesn't make any sense. What is the perfect game to me? So I think I've talked very briefly before about a game idea that I had when I was younger, where I wanted to have a game that incorporated different people in different eras of time. But in order to play as the different people in the different eras, you had to insert a different disc. So like each era was on a disc, and it would be like a full-fledged game with discs that would all be different eras. That's a terrible idea
What?
because it's extremely inconvenient, and I was
tells me
8.
nothing.
I'm so confused.
Well, you can change that now with the Toys to Life mechanism.
Yeah, I was
No
in
disc,
3rd
different
grade
toys.
when I had this written in my notebook, by the way, so I want a little bit of a pass on it.
We've all had terrible young child ideas.
I
for
hope
video
we all
games.
had those terrible game ideas as kids.
I had
That's
one
gonna be what brought us all
where
together.
you played as a bunny on roller skates and fought vampires.
That's fucking awesome.
Stupid.
I'm pretty sure that game exists.
Yeah,
already.
that sounds like it's on Greenlight right now.
It's actually
Probably.
So my perfect game in my adult brain would also have to do with time travel. I don't know if there's really been a game that deals with traveling in time and allows you to, like have a good degree of freedom in altering a past that makes your future, like, you know, noticeably and demonstrably different and can change the trajectory of different things.
You want, like, real Fable.
Yeah, I pretty much want real Fable. I want something that deals with time travel, that puts you in positions where you can clearly make a difference for the future of whatever game world you're in. And, you know, like, have completely different experiences as a result of that. I don't really have, like, a full-fledged idea for that, but that concept alone is so exciting to me that I need that. I need that. I want to play that before I die.
Seriously, just go ask Peter Molyneux to just do Fable again. I'm sure he'll get it right the second time.
I think he will.
I'm totally with you, though. I mean, all the things they promised in Fable, if they pulled it off, would have been fantastic.
I want to
technology just wasn't there at the time.
I know.
Yeah.
It wasn't nearly close enough.
I don't think the technology's ever going to be there for Peter Molyneux.
No, yeah, No Man's Sky, though.
It's got a release date. It's going to be real. It's happening.
June is actually pretty close.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
People were saying it was going to be out in November for some reason. I don't know what happened the other day. It was just like a rumor flying around.
Every fucking game. Yo, hold up. Wouldn't it be sweet if it just came out?
Ooh.
HL3.txt.
Yeah. NMS.RTF. Oops.
Slip down.
I found this at a floppy disk left on the ground at the Sony convention.
The 9 Inch Nails approach to marketing.
It's just like an ASCII dick butt.
I would look into that, man. I would study every part of that ASCII dick butt. They use a C instead of a D in this part of his dong. I wonder what that means.
Break into the code.
Call up Hackerman.
.xls.
Okay, speaking of Hackerman, because I just said those words out loud, have you guys seen Kung Fury?
Not yet. I want to.
No.
Great. I love
It's on Netflix now.
It
So-
is?
American Netflix.
That's true. Okay, so sorry about that, but you have to watch it because it's probably the best thing I've ever seen.
I will.
But thank you, Stuart, for your question for Ask Roundtable. That is our description of our perfect games. I had a lazy one, but I want it to happen. God damn it!
Fine.
Halo 5.
Halo
More
5.
people should email us questions too.
Yeah,
You guys-
roundtableYT@gmail.com. If you got questions for us, we are happy to answer them. RoundtableYT. Yes, want lots of them. And we want lots more Nick's Weird Games because Bear's Weird Games was a terrible replacement segment, and we need you back in our lives.
I didn't get it, so you did fine.
I had one game though. I actually had one game to use for Bear's Weird Games, so I'm really glad you didn't make me do it for 2 weeks in a row.
On deck.
It was like, when Nick's not here, I'm going to be ready for this. I'm going to have my moment. So we'll do Nick's Weird Games this time. And, well, we got to have something good here because you guys don't know it yet, but in about 10 or 15 minutes, you'll know this is a very special episode. It's very significant. So this is going to mark the end of an era here, the end of the, I'll just say it, the end of the pre-recorded Nick's Weird Games theme songs. Because then we're going
Not like
live.
we've ever done a second take of them.
No,
know, right?
We never have. Never, ever. Nick's Weird Games is always first ones a go. So, what do you want, Mathis? What do you want to hear?
Why not? You know, it's like you said, it's the end of an era. We might as well use one of the most famous songs of our time, Drake's cell phone thing that just came out.
I don't know that song.
You don't even know the name of the song. You just know the video exists.
The one the meme is based off of.
Drake's cell phone video song.
You've never seen the memes?
You haven't seen the Drake memes? The dank Drake memes.
Actually, it's called Cell Phone.
You've never
No, it's
seen
called Hotline Bling. Hotline Bling.
Okay.
Bling, yes, the dance one.
Yeah, he's going.
Look, do you know a Drake song?
I don't know any Drake songs.
I don't either.
I'm sure you do.
We're not hip
I
with
don't
the
know
times
any Drake
anymore.
songs.
Falling apart, guys. We're gonna have to fix it.
I know the one that's like started from the bottom, now we're here. But then it's all I could do 2 lines. Is freaking Nick's Weird Games has to be a little bit more,
all right.
than that.
See, I'm glad you're starting to be a little bit more passionate about it. You're not willing to settle for some bullshit.
Well, it's because I don't
song.
know it, It's just...
Oh my God! Don't click that music video.
How about a little bit of Michael McDonald?
I don't know if I can do a Michael McDonald.
You don't
but
think so?
I can. The problem is I can do the voice. It's kind of like something like there,
Yeah.
but I don't know any songs that Michael McDonald sings. So
All right, I'm just gonna get the game now. So,
All right. We'll see it.
all right, I have it.
I think... No, come on. All right, give me one line of Michael McDonald. That's all I want.
I don't know what framework to fill it in from. It's like I have the goo, but I don't have the mold.
Okay.
I know that feeling.
I need the goo and the mold.
You just want to let the goo spill out and see if it fills into a mold
Then it
somewhere?
would just be Michael McDonald going, "Hoo-hoo-hoo."
I kind of want that.
There's more games.
Yeah. We can pretend that happened.
Why don't you suggest... Mathis's was a song that came out last week.
Yeah.
Bears is the fucking interim singer for the Doobie Brothers from 34 years ago.
Michael McDonald has clout, you ignoramus. Come on.
He's not very popular in Canada.
All right.
I only know him
Check
from,
this out. Global top 50 charts. This is what I'm looking at right now. We got to find something on here.
Okay. Global
Drake is
top
just
50.
straight up just...
This
All he
segment is
does-
not this long.
All he does is dance in a box. That's all he's doing is dancing in a box.
All
I'm going
Drake
through
does
these.
is dance in a box. That's all he's
Okay.
ever done.
I know,
Adam Levine,
which one? Which song is it?
Maroon 5.
Yeah, but what's the...
Oh, you want to know the actual song? Okay.
Well, you're looking at a chart, so
Yeah, I'm just looking at the charts. It's Locked Away featuring... Or no, it's Our City featuring Adam Levine. So we got to go with an actual Maroon 5 song.
I don't know that one.
All right. The most popular recent Maroon 5 song is Sugar.
I can't sing that, man.
Man. All right, let's go with something old. She Will Be Loved for next week.
No, I
You
mean,
want to take a mulligan for today?
you're when it's like something within the vicinity of my voice, it's doable. Setting me up for Adam Levine is just a
No,
disaster.
I can accept Adam Levine at an octave lower for next Weird Games theme
Well,
song.
then it's just like, it's not good.
Man.
That's
All right.
not Adam Levine.
All right.
That's Adam fucking
I
Mundane.
got a PlayStation
That's
1
okay.
game for you today.
Nick,
I think
this
we're
isn't about you, man.
You think this segment is called Nick's Weird Games? No, it's called Ryan's Weird Theme Songs. Unbelievable.
I don't know any of these songs.
He actually
I'm just listening
left.
to Hotline Bling right now. That's all I'm doing.
Oh, man. All right, dude. Tell you what. Have we done Rush yet? We did, didn't we? I think we did. I don't know the extent of your musical taste beyond Rush. I think that's all I've ever
We've
heard.
done The Police. We've done Rush.
What's your favorite band besides Rush?
Probably Rush.
We do like
Damn it.
Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
Can you do that?
I think we might have done that already, but I can give that a
shit.
try.
No, I don't think we've done that one yet.
All right, so that would be.
There we
like-
go. We found something.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay, just let me. Normally it's better when it comes off the top of the dome piece, but I got a little bit inside of myself.
We have
so
to
I
sing to bring Nick back, so this has to
I'm
happen.
aware.
He's gone. He left.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it for Jaguar? Is it for PS3?
Yes.
Published in Japan. Came to US in 2003. Open Google Chrome. Put in the details and see. It's just a weird game, probably an action RPG. Published by Tecmo Koei. Dynasty Heroes 3. Anyway, the wind blows. Publisher's been defunct for weeks. 4 weeks. There you go.
That was fantastic.
That was.
That was actually really
You know what?
I'm
We
actually
had-
really happy that took that long because I'm glad we waited. That was worth it.
It was a significant build-up for a really good payoff. It was really
Yeah,
great.
good payoff.
All right,
Thank you.
That
Nick,
was
what do
really
you
good.
got?
All right. Today we're doing a PS1 game. This is based on from you last week. You kind of inspired me to look at
good.
another segment of my catalog. On the scale of difficulty, I'd say this is pretty up there. Last week we had one that was, or week before last was pretty easy. Phantom Dust. This is down in the depths again. So PlayStation 1 game developed by Art Dink. Anybody ever heard of them?
What?
Art.
Say it
Dink?
again. Spell it.
Art ARTDINK.
Art
Wow.
Dink.
All right.
Art Dink. Published
David
by
Dink.
Art Dink in Japan and SCEA in North America.
Okay.
Came out in 1997 in North America.
I feel like if I don't know Art Dink, I don't know this game. I think I've already lost.
Might be the case. And, well, if you Googled it, you probably found it instantly
Yeah, yeah.
because I don't think they've made very much. It's an action role-playing game, and it is single-player. I'm going to read a couple things from the
I
back.
knew it.
Action
you-
RPG.
If you have a chance at getting it, you'll probably get it because the back is fairly descriptive.
Okay.
Enter a free-spirited world where instincts and survival rule. Hunt, gather, and kill in a prehistoric land where man is animal and the mammoth is king. Here you begin your quest. Hunt and explore a vast wilderness of mountains, tundra, and deserts. Discover mystic ruins, hidden caves, and many other curious finds. Experience real-time weather conditions as you roam, eat, sleep, age, and die. Endure attacks from fierce saber-toothed tigers, eagles, and other wildlife. Evolve a unique tribe of over 100 members.
I think I know this game. This is Tale of the Sun?
Ding, 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 ding!
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Prize!
Holy
shit, well done.
Tale of the Sun.
Yes. Oh, that game is fucking weird, man. That game is weird as hell. It really
This
is.
a good Nick's
Dude.
weird game, then.
Look at this
Props
fucking
to you, Mathis, for getting that. That's
Damn.
a weird
Google
one.
image search Tail of the Sun. And
It's
then look,
Tail, by the way. Tail
Yes.
of the Sun.
and then look at the fucking Birdman walking
Yeah,
towards
yeah.
the camera.
No,
Oh,
this game
God.
is
No,
well
that's
known
his
for its
eyes, man.
bizarreness, actually, which is, I think, why I needed to play this one up for this.
You get
Art
it's
stink.
really fucking bizarre.
What the fuck have these
How did
people
you,
made?
when did you play Tail of the Sun, Mathis?
So, long story, I actually never played Tale of the Sun. Back when Let's Plays were something I was still kind of getting into, like not recording, a Game Informer did a full Let's Play of this game many years ago, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And it was one of the most hilarious things I've ever watched.
Right.
Dan Reichert was the one that played through it. It was so funny. It's weird. It's so weird.
It's
It's
apparently...
got some great Wikipedia stubs that come off of it. Like, for example, prehistoric people in popular culture. This is one that I will spend some time perusing at my own leisure.
That's good. Apparently it's on PlayStation Network now as a PS1
Japan.
classic.
Like, all the art that I'm looking at is all like fan art from the Let's Play.
Yeah. Man, that is awesome. We got a point. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't
That's, I
believe
think, your
it.
Points.
third point so far out of, what is this, 20 episodes?
Yeah, something like that. So
Don't worry
this will
about
be
that.
episode 19, actually. So that's going to be a terrific natural segue into the big announcement.
Oh,
Oh, where is it? Where did I put it?
What's the big announcement, Bear?
There it is. It's Roundtable Live. Woo!
I don't see anything.
You don't see anything. It's all on my end. Roundtable Live, everybody. This is the big announcement. It's episode 19 and going into episode 20, which will be taking place next Tuesday, which is 3 days from when you're hearing this. If you're listening to this episode the day it goes up, or 4 days. I don't understand weekends. The 3rd of November, the Tuesday, we will be live doing the podcast, not just doing the stream, but doing the actual podcast proper on the Roundtable Podcast Twitch channel. And that will be happening every single week from this point forward. So the Roundtable Podcast is going weekly. It's happening. Even without the Patreon goal, we just decided, fuck it, we're going to do it.
yeah.
Because
basically.
it's going to be better.
The streams suck.
They don't suck.
So we might as well do more podcasts.
No. We all collectively decided that it would be a fun shift. I think the podcast needed a new life, so we're breathing it into it by way of Twitch. So
With
that's going to be
that-
happening now.
Changes at Patreon obviously will happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've just collectively decided to drop the $75 tier altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just leave the $50 tier and below as it is, I believe. If any major changes come into it, you'll all get an announcement to let you know.
Mm-hmm. And those of you who are in the $75 tier, we're working on ways to, sort of provide an equal value thing for that contribution. We very much thank those of you who have been supporters on Patreon this entire time. It's been a long time now. It's been like 8 months that we've been doing this show. So to be on Patreon for that long or for any period of time in that span, we want to say thank you very much for that. The Patreon page, again, will still be going on. The Twitch page will have subscriptions enabled as well with a few custom emotes and some other stuff. I don't know exactly what's going on with that right now, but I'll figure it out by the time we have the show going on. And we got all kinds of new artwork, all sorts of new fun stuff, and we'll be bringing more guests on as well to do the show live with us because that's always fun too. But yeah, Roundtable Live, it's totally a thing. It's totally happening. It'll be every Tuesday, ideally around 11 a.m. Pacific. Will be the start time for that, much like the streams were every other Tuesday over there as well. And that's it. That's the big announcement. So hope you're excited for that, because we are. And that is also going to do it for the show today.
Yeah!
Yeah!
I'm still not in Overwatch.
Oh, man, we took the entire podcast and you still didn't get your email, huh?
I know, I'm very mad about
That's a bummer. Oh, man. Follow us over on Twitter at RoundtablePC. Thank you very much.
See if I care.
Whoa, hey, man. Don't be so goddamn...
Yo, that pizza place probably has the most successful tweet they've ever had.
How many retweets does it have now?
It has 40
God.
tweets and 30 favorites.
Yeah.
Ryan follows them now, so now obviously I'm not the biggest person to follow him. Ryan decided to
As soon as he heard you say that, it's just like
Why
instantly.
wouldn't I follow them?
And if they follow you before they follow me, I'm gonna be mad.
This pizza looks pretty fucking good, man.
Yeah, but they only have the one location.
They can deliver.
You can have Mathis deliver it to you.
This broccoli pizza, though, I don't know, man.
Broccoli on pizza, it's not awful, but it's not good
either. Is it
either.
soft or is it does it firm?
It softens. It's like, well, I guess it depends on.
I don't really like soft broccoli.
Really?
Like I mean, I like broccoli. I don't really like soft broccoli. I like it to have a little crispness.
All right.
I want to imagine I'm biting into a little tree. Like I'm a fucking giant.
Then your parents did that to you when you were younger, right? They told you like you're a dinosaur. You got to bite the leaves off your tree.
I literally don't think I ate broccoli until I was like 17 or 18.
Really?
Yeah.
Broccoli has been my favorite vegetable.
Broccoli is dope. Why is broccoli the one that gets the bad rap?
Cauliflower is fucking disgusting. That's the one that should be.
I find gross.
Yeah.
Really? I like cauliflower. Brussels sprouts are fucking delicious too.
You're off the show. Thank you very much for our Patreon supporters of this show. It's going to be Max Pillin, Christopher Flagg, Positron, Alexander Spillman, Jeff Rush, Jonathan Graham, Julian Abelsgard, Kevin Birkland, Matt, David Bradley, Air Force Balls, Christopher Farmer, General Crunk, Casey, Zur, Simph, Kevin, Chloe, hashtag Chloe Deserve Better Walker. Is that a Life is Strange reference? I don't know.
Or maybe like Khloe Kardashian. Is she a person?
Yeah, it's probably Khloe Kardashian reference.
Ignacio0891, Brizzlebrip, Justin, Logan Ray, Smurfette, Matthew Monahan, Adam Savage's Blowhole. I'm still really happy that one's up there. Johannes Goldon, Mediocrities, Nullref, and Myth Scarab. Thank you guys so much for maintaining your support again over on the Patreon page. That tier, by the way, the folks that are wondering whether or not they're going to keep getting the shout-out videos and the personalized thank you videos and that sort of stuff, actually planning on incorporating that sort of into the Twitch stream as well, so be on the lookout for that. And that, I believe, is it. Roundtable subreddit, roundtablepodcast.reddit.com to submit feedback for the show in any way, shape, or form. Also, feel free to rate the show on iTunes, because iTunes is still a thing that we really love for you to use. 5 stars on iTunes does go a long way. Thank you very much for that support as well. And thank you for watching the show, and we'll see you live on Tuesday. Twitch.tv/roundtablepodcast. Bye.
When the hotline bling.